and kind of show you how that process works. And then I will, run the game and Ray can fight them and resurrect them and do that kind of stuff. So this probably, even though it's already a half hour in and you haven't really seen anything yet, this probably won't be a super long one. Certainly not the epic streams that Matt's been doing. But I don't know, probably an hour or so. But anyway, all right. So just to kind of get some of the screen populated, I'm going to just start dropping some things in. First, have a couple of houses that we're going to put in here. And some of this won't make sense because, I'm kind of going to do this quickly. Won't have all the perfect things in all the right places, but we'll see what we can do. So, So we got, here is a house. But I actually have somehow, I'm not going to do that one. Let's do one that's already got some lights attached to it. So in Unity you can, and I guess probably in most engines, you can actually set things up to have a bunch of sort of predefined characteristics to it. So one thing we did with these houses is set them up so that they already have a bunch of lights attached to them. Obviously this saves a lot of work if you want to do basically what I'm doing right now, which is just kind of put together a quick level. This is good, for not only for prototyping, but also just for, building your final assets. Because otherwise I'd have to go through, place all the houses individually, place all the lights exactly on every single house, and, so this saves a lot of time. So I'll just place a couple houses. I've got a few variations of the houses too. Actually, you don't want your house to look exactly like your neighbor's house. So let's bring what size is that one? That one's large. Let's bring a medium-sized house in. What? I should look at the questions a bit. Coffee, caffeine, coffee. Okay. You guys just talk amongst yourselves. Alright, so we got a medium house here. Alright, so let's start with that. And let's decorate a little bit. Let's get some trees. Everyone likes a bit of trees in their neighborhood. Trees is spelled with 2 E's and 1 S, not 1 E and 2 S's, for anyone's wondering. So it's the fall. And some trees are without leaves. So let's put a couple of kind of creepy looking trees in here. Alright. We've got a whole bunch of different kinds of trees. Well, this is kind of small, isn't it? Let's see how everything is. So the houses are about the right size. I mean, they're not, relative to, real world. These houses are definitely on the small side, but we definitely play with our exaggerated proportions quite a bit. So yeah, so with the trees, it's easy enough to scale things however you want. Sean yells at me for scaling things, but we just ignore Sean sometimes. It can be bad for performance to have things in a non-uniform scale, but you don't really care about hearing about that kind of thing. So, but anyway, you can rotate them and size them so they all feel a little different. Let's get some trees with leaves in here too. We got this one. So obviously the trees do not come with lights because they don't emit light of any kind, but we have lights in the scene that are gonna light these things. Homeowners Association. Yes, we're definitely concerned with the homeowners associations in this game. Alright, so there's a tree, and let's make a couple giant trees in the background to just kind of make it feel like there's a world beyond just what we have in our little section here. So just do a little of that. Normally when we're doing this, we're going to put some lower detailed trees in the background because, the further things are off in the distance, the less detail they need. But just for the sake of keeping things moving, I'll just do it like this for now. Okay, rotate it a little bit, give it a little scale. Okay, so now, sort of starting to kind of look like a something. So I'm going to real quick run a light map. So as I mentioned, I've got a couple of lights in the scene. Where are they? There they are. So I won't talk about this too much, but basically there's a giant directional light that's sort of like the direction I'm pointing the camera now is roughly the direction the light's coming in. So this is just sort of emulating a sunlight kind of thing. And so none of these objects are receiving light. It looks like the houses are receiving light. That's because the lights are actually dynamic up until the point you bake them. But anyway, so if I run a light map here, it's going to basically calculate. Hopefully this will go pretty quick. It should. Because we don't have too much in here yet. Right. Okay. So what the light mapping process does is it takes the lights in your scene and applies it's basically like a gigantic texture to the objects and the ground. So notice that we have these shadows back here now. The light map, because it was coming in from this angle, it calculated a shadow, the correct shadow that would come off of that object, and it baked it into the texture that's being applied on top of everything. So same with these trees. They've got, lighting on the front, and they're casting a shadow onto the house behind it. That kind of thing. So yeah, every time you move objects around and move lights and whatnot, you want to rebake your light maps. I'll put no, I won't do that yet. I was going to put some other lights in and just show you, but we'll do that later. Okay, so got a couple houses there. So next thing I'm going to do is okay, so this is our ground. This is our ground detail. It's got a lot more detail in it as far as the geometry than you would normally want. Also, you wouldn't normally want it to be quite this flat, but again, this is just sort of a quick demo. But we have kind of a fancy shader process where I can actually, I'm not real great with technical terms, but the shader that's on this allows us to have 3 different textures overlapping at any one point. So I'm going to open VPaint. No, I don't want to. Where the heck's the VPaint? VPaint. It's opening off screen here. Hello, VPaint. What happened? I set this up last night. What's going on? VPaint object. What the heck? Alright, well, I'm going to have to do this again real quick. What the heck? Don't want that one. Aha, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to keep this window off screen mostly, but this basically allows me to choose different layers of the ground texture and then pick different paintbrushes, different characteristics of paintbrushes and whatnot, and actually paint onto the ground. So performance is chugging a bit here. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna paint like a dirt road into the ground. Let me up the opacity and the radius. Come on, what are we doing here? Hello. What's going on here? Oh, I have the wrong color checked. Let's try this off to the side a bit. There we go. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to paint this. It's a, this isn't the ideal texture we would want for a road, but it works for what we're doing today. Let me check. Hey, it's Mark Brunell. Thanks for joining us, sir. Good to see you. New type media. New type dilemma. New type dilemma. Yeah, we're in Texas now. A couple of us were in Chicago up until very recently, but we've relocated to Dallas now. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of paint a good enough for demonstration purposes road right now. So notice it's actually just blending between the grass and the dirt. So it's pretty cool if you want to like quickly get some things down. I can have it branch a bit here. Do a bit of that, a little of that. Alright, so and then we'll just have it. I'm probably not going to actually build all this out, but whatever. This only takes a second, so it's easy enough to do. Actually, let's have this end at a big like cul-de-sac up here. Is that a term that everyone uses, cul-de-sac? I don't know. I feel like that's one of those regional things. I don't know. If anyone calls it something different, let me know. Actually, if you do, you may not even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of big circle things that have houses around them. Yeah, does everyone call it cul-de-sac? I don't know. Okay. All right. So we got that, and then I mentioned there's actually 3 layers, so I'm gonna pay attention to what I'm doing this time and try to do it correctly. I guess I could pull this over so you guys could see the stuff I'm clicking. We're going to paint a bit of brick on. I'm going to pretend that the brick is the sidewalk. Again, this isn't what we would normally want to texture these things, but I think for now it's fine. I'm going to reduce the radius because this is going to be much smaller than the street. So let's see how this goes. Is it going to work? It is going to work. Alright. So I'm going to put the opacity back up a bit. Whoops. Why is it erasing? What happened? What did I just do? Oh, it randomly changed from black to red. Okay. Strange. Alright, so we'll just do this. I'm going to make it bigger just to save some time. Let's pretend this is a sidewalk. Matt and Sean will be the first to tell you that this is kind of how I always do things. It's always usually pretty ugly on the first, maybe the second, maybe even the third attempt, but eventually we get what we want. So we'll just do a sidewalk, or a fancy brick sidewalk path around, and we'll get a little bit detailed here. We'll have it go up to the, yeah. So things aren't quite facing the right direction, but don't worry, in the final game, the bricks are going to face the right direction. I guarantee you. There. And let's erase a little bit. This is a little bit too much, huh? Got to give these people some kind of a front yard. Let's do this. Okay, so there we go. So you can kind of see how things are starting to come together. Cul-de-sacs are for the posh side of town. Is that right? That means I grew up on the posh side of town. I didn't know that. That's good to know. Okay. Dead end, right. Okay, so we'll do a little more decorating, I think. We'll put a, let's see, we got some fence in here. Wooden fence. How about that? So, fences are wonderful in games. They do all kinds of useful things like contain the player and keep them from going places you don't want them to go, which is critically important because all of you are always wanting to go where you shouldn't. We can't have that. Actually, let's do a bit of this. And these neighbors don't like each other, so we're gonna block them off. All of that. I have another damaged fence. Where is that? I'm not using the right prefab, but yeah, so in Raise the Dead, all of the wooden objects are going to be things that you can, well, I shouldn't say all wooden objects, but in general, things that are made of wood are things that you can destroy with your zombie crew, and particularly things that look a little bit beat up. So we have, like, this is a normal fence, you know, nice and sturdy, and then this is one that's on its way out. So if you were walking by, you'd probably think, hey, that fence looks a little weak. I could probably knock that thing over, and in the case of our game, you would be right. So just keep decorating a bit here. Okay, I think it's time to run another light map too, because, oh, you know what, these aren't going to have, don't tell Sean I didn't use the prefab. I'm going to say that a lot, because Sean always gets mad at me. He's a real piece of work, that guy. You don't want to work with him. I am just kidding, of course. Sean is wonderful. He's a lot better than Matt. No, wait, that's not true either. Okay, I'm going to run a light map because these fences are so dark and it's making me sad. So I'm going to do that real quick, and that'll give me a chance to look at the comments. Matt had a baby, yes. Yes, okay. If anyone has any questions about any of this, I'm happy to answer. Okay, so as you can see, we ran our light map, so now the fences are getting light, they're casting shadows on the ground. Everything is starting to look somewhat attractive. I'll do a little more, maybe put some boulder down. Everyone likes a few rocks in their front yard. Who doesn't like that? This one's kind of big. Let's shrink it down a bit. Nice rock. I'll put that there. I'll put a fern. There we go. That looks nice. That looks really nice. And because it's Halloween, let's put this ugly pumpkin I made in. Don't worry, we're going to make a better pumpkin in the final game. But this gets the point across. Oops, the fern is floating. We don't want floating ferns. Let's put that there. And let's scale it up. Does anyone fix the title of the video? Is that fixed yet? Is that because of something you guys did, or? Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. I'm told that if you want the correct title at the top of your video stream, you need to reload the page. Okay? Alright, so let's run another light map because we want to be able to see our pumpkin. So the cool thing here is that, so we've got these lights on the house. So both the light that's up in the sky that's sort of emulating the sun and the lights in the house are going to light these objects. Oh, but it's really close to the, it's so dark. Let's cheat and brighten this up a little bit. Alright, well, we can tweak that in a bit. Alright, let's do a couple more things. Let's put a garbage can. We have all kinds of varieties of garbage can. Let's pretend it's garbage day. Let's pretend it's garbage day and everyone is putting their garbage out. Because that's what people do on garbage day. Oh, this wasn't set to receive light maps. Okay, that was bothering me. We'll fix that. Okay, so there's one type of garbage. You won't believe how many garbage cans Raise the Dead is going to have. That will be a bullet point on the back of the box. It'll have at least 3 unique garbage can models. Here's one that's knocked over and the garbage is actually falling out of the garbage can. Can you believe it? And then here's a garbage can lid, because when someone knocked that garbage can over, the lid fell off. I know, I'm blowing everyone's mind right now. And then garbage can with no lid at all. This is just, you know, who needs Destiny? You don't need to play that game when we have this kind of thing going on in Raise the Dead. Okay, garbage cans. Let's run another light map because that pumpkin's too dark for my tastes. Oh yeah, that's much better. A little bit of light mapping inaccuracies, but we'll just pretend we're not seeing that. Nope. Okay, and then here's the garbage cans lit up. Amazing, amazing garbage cans. Okay, and just a few more things that we do to kind of liven things up. I've got various patches of leaves that we put down. Oh, I grabbed the particle effect. Let's try again. Leaves pile. There we go. That's what we want. So there's a lot of leaves in the game. We got a lot, it's the fall, heavily wooded area, so we got lots of leaves on the ground. I'm going to change this shader real quick to the one that I like, transparent. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Okay. And right, so when I run the light map, that'll actually look more like the color of the leaves we have, but these are super useful. I just kind of put them around and it looks like leaves have gathered on the ground all over the place. Duplicate that. It's always good to put them under the trees because it makes sense that that's where they would go. They also do a lot for just like breaking up harsh edges where different models meet the ground. We'll put that over there. And we've got variants of leaf piles. Oh, what's that? Let's delete that. I don't know what that is. Oh, here's scattered leaves. There we go. So if you want your leaves to be not quite as dense, those are a bit small too. Okay, so we're going to run a light map yet again. Foxman 13. I don't know about available for download, but we'll put it up on YouTube, if that's what you're asking. All the live streams we've done lately are going up on our YouTube channel, which is called Ragtag Studio. If maybe Sean or Matt could put that in the link, that would be, or in the chat. The link to that in the chat, that would be awesome. Cool, so we've got some leaves with some light on them now. Ooh, I got some sorting issues. That's because there we go. That's because I changed it to the fancier method. If you guys want to see this kind of blending in our game, tell Sean to make it so. He can do it. Okay. I'm really throwing Sean under the bus today. Sorry, Sean. Okay, so this is kind of starting to come together. I could sit here all day and keep decorating things and putting more detail in, but eventually we gotta get on to some more interesting stuff. So we do need to give these people some vehicles though. So Matt made some pretty sweet cars. So one of these people drive a hearse. So they keep their totally sweet hearse parked out in front. So we're gonna, where should we put, we don't want to put it in front of the garbage because then the garbage man won't take it, but, so I'll just show off Matt's awesome hearse a little bit. Got the skull on the front, look at that. It's in our trailer. So yeah, this hearse plays a pretty important role in the game, but I'm not going to tell you what. Unless you bump us up to 40,000, then I might do it. So rotate a little bit, because you don't want anything to be perfectly straight. So got that. Got, what other cars do we have? What was that term you used for all the cars you made, Matt? What were they called? No, you had some. Glider, that's what it was. Yeah. So we got a couple of these. Just put some cars out on the street. Got, what kind is that? It's B. That's the B variety. Here's C. Car glider C. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. That's just on the gliders, right? Not the hearse, of course. Okay. So notice I put one over here because this street has two sides to it. So we're going to eventually build out the other side too. Any questions? Cool. Okay, going to do another light map. And, oh no, shame on me again. I didn't make that light map static. Okay, these other ones are though. So now it has a light on it and casting shadows and all that goodness. I'm going to run it again so we can see this one. Sorry. Foxman, did you already say what it is you guys are doing or what you're working on? I'd be curious to hear that. So it's a little dark to see, but some of the parts of our cars are going to be customizable. Not customizable by the player, but by us. Sorry. But you can take the wheel cover. It's really dark. You probably can't really see that well, but it's got these wheel covers that you can turn on and off. There's all kinds of things we're going to do so we can vary these things up. Alright, what was I going to do next? Oh, we got trucks. Got to show the truck. Oh, we don't have prefabs of any of these trucks. Shame on me. Oh, here's one. Okay. We like to play with unusual proportions and raise the dead, so these cars might not look like they have very comfortable interiors, and they probably wouldn't, but we don't care about that. Not important. Okay. Oh, Trinket Tom, I just saw your tweet. You're so nice. You're so nice. Oh. Okay, so here's a truck, and it's pretty easy for us we have some different materials that we can swap out, so we can just change the color of it. We got black truck, for example. We have orange truck. We even have red truck. Right. Amazing. So, okay, so I'm gonna just run around a little bit just to kind of see what this feels like. Again, it'll take a second for the game to start running, but shouldn't be too bad. I should probably save too, huh? That would be kind of harsh if we crashed right now. In fact, now I'm really scared of that happening. Alright. So we don't often have the camera zoomed in this close. We do on occasion when we really want to, you know, show some of Ray's emotion. This is one of those times where my controls aren't quite working, but that's okay. So the camera more often than not is going to be, you know, something like this. Not quite like this, but we're not going to look far off into the distance very often. So yeah, so right now I can walk right through everything, which obviously is not what we want. These fences are not doing their job, nor are these houses. So it's not too exciting to show what we do about that, but I will do it real quick. So there's a few ways to do it, but I guess the most visual way is to show. We've got these cubes that we can place in the level. They're called Unwalkable Cube. I'm going to scale it up. Whoa, what happened here? Scale it up. That doesn't want to. There we go. So we're going to basically make this cube representative of the size of the car to make sure that Ray and his ragtag band of zombies. Ragtag? I like how yeah, Matt's hyperventilating behind me. Make sure that they can't walk through this here car. Okay, so just make sure that intersects with the ground. Yeah, like that, and then we go over here to navigation. Right now, the blue area is where Ray can walk and where any character can walk, and we don't want that. We don't want it to be blue everywhere, even though you can't see it. Actually, if we zoom inside of the house, you can see it. We're inside the house right now, so it's obviously under the house. We don't want that. So I have to do the collision real quick. I'm going to clear it, and then this is called baking nav mesh. So I hit bake. This should go pretty quick because we don't have too much detail going on. Alright, so now you can see, so not only the cube or the rectangle that I put down is eliminated some of the blue walkable area, but also these models are set to, some of them are set to do the same, basically the same thing as this red cube. So yeah, so the garbage cans are the same way. They're basically cutting part of the nav mesh out so that Ray can't walk through it. So if I just run the game again. Oh, Tom. Stop with your kind words. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. And you'll notice that Ray cannot, well, he can, he can partially walk through the hearse, but I need to make them bigger. But for the most part, he is not able to walk directly through it. Same with this house over here. You can probably walk up to it, but oh no, he's got his head stuck in the house. Yeah, so anyway, you get the point. Even these garbage cans. Can't walk through them. Okay. So that's how that works. Alright, so let's see. Maybe we'll do a little bit of particle affecting. So, you've been seeing the leaves fall in front of the camera. That is a particle effect. basically a particle effect is it's a point in the world at which you can emit a bunch of little sprites that have a texture on them, and they look like whatever it is you paint them to look like. So, for example, all the leaves that fall in that particle effect, we just have a single leaf on a texture, and then we have an emitter that's spraying out a whole bunch of leaves, and you can adjust all the parameters to make them move however you want. So another particle effect we have is smoke. So I was going to have some smoke coming out of this chimney, because things like that are really nice for, adding atmosphere. So I'm not going to make it from scratch like everything else here, but I'm going to find one that we already have and modify it a little bit. Let's see. We have a lot of smoke. This might be an old one. Oh yeah. Oh, that's not even one of ours. That's a Unity thing. Fluffy smoke? No. Alright. Apocalypse smoke. Alright. So we have this in a different level in the game, but obviously this looks like it's coming off of something that's burning or on fire, and we don't want that. So let's go put this in the right spot. So it kind of looks like it's coming out of the chimney. So I'll just step back and show you what it looks like. It doesn't actually play unless I have it selected, so sorry about that. And there's all kinds of things we can do to this. You can change the color over lifetime. So right now it's going from like a bright orange to a less saturated orange, and then eventually to black. So we can do whatever we want with this color picker here. We can make it crazy blue, starts out blue if we want, and then transitions to bright green, because this is normal, and then to black. So that, I think that looks about right. What do you guys think? I think that looks natural. Okay, so I'm lying. I don't think that looks natural at all. If you guys think so, then you're all, you guys got issues. So we're gonna just make it more of a, this is pretty much just a black smoke, I think. So not too black. You want a little bit of gray in there so it actually shows up. But so something like that goes to brown. We probably don't want that. That's still maybe trails. No, we want it to get darker. And so there's all kinds of things we can mess with here. We can play with like how big they are. So notice they start small and they get bigger as they fly up into the sky. There's that. We can adjust how long they live. So if we play with the lifetime value here, we can drastically reduce. So now it's just a much quicker moving little puff of smoke, but that's not cool. We don't want that. So let's bump that back up to a more reasonable number. So this is just basically saying that each particle that's emitted will live at a randomly selected value somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds. And it's nice to have that variation. You can have them all be consistent if you want, but it's nice to have the variation because you can see here that some of them die off, some of them live a little longer, some of them die sooner. So it just gives it a much more organic kind of effect. So I don't know if there's any other particles that are relevant to this scene. I'll show you one other thing. Now this is a animated object. Electric. I gotta remember what it's called. We've been working on this Kickstarter for so long, I'm kind of forgetting what some of these things are called. Power lines. Power line. Okay. So I'm gonna just put a few things in here. Oh, Unity. By the way, I didn't even save after I said that I should save. There, now we go. Now we have saved. Uh-oh. Ew, I don't know what just happened. Okay, I think we're safe. Oof, that was scary. Okay, so I'm going to put in a couple power lines just because these things are cool. It's always nice to have objects in your scene that just sort of can have a simple animation applied to them. That's always, just ambient animation is nice. It makes your world feel alive, and if it's just a simple looping thing, it's not, terribly hard to implement or resource heavy. So one thing that I added to our small town level are these power lines. They also work well because, I'll show you what it ultimately is when it's done, but you basically put them across the street from each other. These guys got a discount on their house because there's a power line directly in their front yard. Yeah, okay, and then we have an actual animated power line. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So these are the actual power lines, and these are going to connect between the two. And I'm just going to roughly place them in the right spot, so not going to worry too much about being exact here, but that's not so good, is it? Let's move that a little more. Okay, that one's fine. This one, there. Alright, so that's that, and then I'm going to do one more thing. We also have, because it's a dangerous world in Raise the Dead, we have a downed power line. So I'm going to so this is one that's just sort of hanging, very dangerous exposed circuit here, and we're going to have that. Normally, yes, you might be wondering, like, why is there one here when I can clearly see the cable? Well, this is the one that went the other direction. Okay, so just calm down. And yeah, so we can. This, I guess, is another opportunity for a particle effect. We have a spark. Is this right? Oh no, that's another Unity one. Spark burst. It's not even looping. I have a better one than that. Spark. There we go. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Okay. It's a bit much, but it gets the point across. So we're going to have that playing at the bottom here, because that looks like something you want to stay away from in a game. Unless you are powered by electricity. If that's the case, you might actually want to look out for this. So anyway, so first of all, I'm going to just bake the light maps again real quick. Sorry, I keep forgetting to look in the comments. Let's see. Alright, no questions. Oh, okay, thanks. Alright, so we got our light map, and now I'm going to run the game real quick, and we should, I hope, see this thing animating. Yes. Okay. So yeah, so it all kind of works together. We've got the wind, the ambient sound of the wind blowing. We've got leaves blowing, and then things like the power lines in here that are shaking. The animation could be better, but it gets the point across for now. And they're even casting dynamic shadows onto the ground, which is pretty cool, and to anything else on the ground. So you see how you start to understand how things come together, I think. Here's our little spark particle. Zoom in on that a little bit. Walk down the street a little bit. Okay. Alright, so I don't think there's too much more to show that's exciting regarding the actual environment. And we all know that characters are the real star of the game anyway. Playmaker. So yeah, we use Playmaker to, create behaviors and whatnot in this game. Yeah, but maybe I'll do that when the characters are in. Like to have characters come out or, Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably do a short and simple demonstration of how Playmaker works. It's the kind of thing that I don't know that I would do that well working with it under pressure, but there's some probably real simple stuff I can do. So anyway. Well, thanks, Tom. How many of those models that you dragged in do you have? I'm not sure what you're asking. Do you mean how many do we have that I haven't dragged in here, or what? Please clarify your question. Yeah, we have lots. Making more. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, really building out levels like this really isn't incredibly time consuming. It's the creation of the assets, it's the planning of what gameplay is going to happen and all that, and then like setting up the behaviors and everything. That's all the stuff that really requires a lot of iteration and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no small task getting all these levels looking nice and playing well. There's a lot of detail when it comes down to like all the collision I was showing earlier. There's a lot, you have to keep iterating on that and make sure that it feels good, and you're giving characters access to the parts of the level that you want them to be able to get access to, and keeping them out of the areas you don't want them to have access to. And there's a lot of performance considerations. We can't just put, this stuff is everything you put in here is taxing on the processor of whatever you're running the game on. So you can't just throw everything you want in here. It's getting to that point with, as powerful as systems are these days, but not there yet. What will the gameplay of the game be? So you might want to check out our Kickstarter page if you haven't already. I'm sure someone can put a link in there. It goes through, the trailer shows a lot of what the game is about. But in general, you are playing this zombie, Ray. You control him, and this bulb on his head gives him the ability to resurrect and control the dead. And so basically, if you're familiar with Pikmin, it's similar to Pikmin in that you control this single character who in turn can control the other characters that he sort of creates out of the deceased. So you take those characters and you're running around the world, and there's combat, and there's puzzle solving, and there's a really awesome story to our game. So yeah, but check out the Kickstarter, watch the trailer, and read the page, and that'll tell you probably most of what you want to know, but not everything, because we're not talking about everything. So will there be any visual difference between the PC and the PS4 version? Our goal is to be able to answer no to that question, but we can't 100% promise anything just yet. Our development is primarily on the PC, but I mean that the PS4 version is just as high priority as the PC version. So we're going to do everything we can to make them look identical. I'm pretty sure that they should look exactly the same, but yeah, I don't want to promise anything. There isn't. I mean, it's not like the old days where there was a very clear. If the PS4 didn't exist and we were developing for PS3, then I would say, yes, the PC version's likely to look better than the PS3 version. But with PS4, it's it's basically a PC as it is, so they should look very similar, if not exactly the same. That is our goal. Thank you, Stealthy Druid. She just put the link to the Kickstarter in there. Okay, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I doing? Characters. Okay, well, let's put some characters in here. So let's see. What have we got? We've got. Oh, Tom, you were asking how many Yeah. We have. I mean, I guess this is most of the cars we have built so far. Well, there's some other cars. I have a cop car. I can put that in. Police. Yeah. Vehicle police. Here's a police car. Yeah, we're gonna have. Matt is ridiculous, and he just loves making all this stuff. So I can guarantee you we're gonna have a ton of cars and a ton of pretty much everything by the end of the game. Characters, he's already going nuts with that. So here's a cop car. But yeah, in the end, we're gonna have a whole. I don't know how many, but a lot of different variations of everything. And the houses, we don't have a tremendous number of houses, but this is also one of the few levels. Well, we have a level that's going to take place in a small town, and that's, for the most part, the only place these houses are going to show up, because Ray goes to, a bunch of different locations that have very different, scenery dressing. So I don't want to say too much about where he ends up, but yeah, lots of different environment decoration going on. So okay, I'll just run the light map again real quick so we can see the cop car. Show us a model that hasn't been shown to the public yet. Oh, Tom. What do I say to that? That has been shown. I'll show. Okay, I will say this: we do have some things that haven't been shown. I don't want to show them, but I'll show you some things that we've just recently shown that have no place in this level whatsoever. And that is this ridiculous monster truck. I'll light it up in a second. And what's the helicopter called? Hind. Yeah. Okay. So here, I should let Matt show his own models off, but yeah, so here's a couple of, let me scale this up so we can see it a little better. Oh, that's a little bit much. So these are, these have been shown to the public. Sorry, Tom. But only just recently in our trailer that we released when the Kickstarter launched. And let me just run a light map on those real quick. Oh wait, those aren't even static. That's a good question. So the question is, you've created games in Unreal in the past. How satisfied are you with Unity? Well, all engines have their advantages and disadvantages. I don't think it's really not any secret that Unity is not, it hasn't had as much, life, right? Well, yeah, Unity is primarily used by smaller teams making, smaller games. It's starting to break out of that a bit, but you can't really. I don't think it's in the same league as Unreal. Tons of AAA games are made with Unreal. It's existed quite a bit longer, so it's really kind of tough to compare the two. But Unity does have some great advantages as far as the license cost and the flexibility of moving to different platforms. So I mean, everybody knows that kind of stuff, but yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, honestly, like I used Unreal. It was a modified version of the Unreal 2 engine, and this was about 10 years ago. So I'm pretty out of touch with Unreal, to be perfectly honest, but I watch videos and see what it can do, and it's it's really doing some amazing stuff that makes me jealous pretty often. But yeah, it's really more a matter of like what your budget is and what type of game you're trying to make and that kind of thing. Yeah, right. So yeah, Matt reminded me. All the other engines, including Unreal, have been adjusting their licensing fees, and I think as a result of the popularity that Unity's found lately. Um, I think one of the engines is even available for purchase on Steam. I forget. Crisis Engine, is that right? Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Okay, so here's a couple of. Sorry, they're still kind of dark. I could up the lighting a bit. Let's do that. Let's This is going to probably be a little blown out, but we'll just do it temporarily. Will the cul-de-sac from Ed, Ed, and Eddie be there? um, I don't know what that is. Sorry. I know it's a cartoon. I just don't know exactly what it's referring to. It's still pretty dark. I'll say no. I'll say that won't be there. Okay. Yeah, so these are pretty awesome. You can see these in action in our trailer. We got Hawkface monster truck with these ridiculous tires. Matt based this on, I forget what it's called, some toy back from the 80s that the animal yeah, that had these giant claws, and I think the deal was that you could just like put it down and it would drive over anything. Oh, they do. They retract too, yeah. So that's awesome. And then here's a helicopter that is in one of the later levels in our game, so we're not saying too much about what's going on with this, but it does make an appearance in the trailer. So there you go. I'm going to delete those now, and I'm going to put my light back to something that doesn't make my eyes bleed. I'll leave it a little higher. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, all right, I'm going to quit going off on tangents, and I'm going to pull the characters in. I'm going to save first, though. Save. All right. So let's see. What are we going to do here? Caretaker. Well, let's just do some. Yeah, let's do some caretaker. So again, the things I'm populating the level with don't necessarily belong together, but that's okay. So I got one gentleman here, and many of the characters have a bunch of parts. Is this one of them? Yes, it is. Because again, Matt's crazy, so he's making all the characters have all kinds of different accessories that go with them, and we can turn them off. So he can just turn his hat off. Look how much younger he looks all of a sudden. Okay, and then we've got another variation. Nice Bass Pro hat. complete with wispy bangs. And then this guy's so ridiculous looking. Dyed blonde caretaker. So yeah, so the idea is we're not going to guarantee that like 1-to-1 every single zombie has an exact, or sorry, that every single human has an exact zombie, visually exact zombie, but we do want to do that where we can. So, we're going to have variations of all the characters that we can do our best to match up with the different types of zombies. So. And so this is just one of the caretakers. We've actually got, if I can learn how to spell caretaker. Oh my gosh, caretaker. Let's see, caretaker. There's another one. Let's just get them all out here, and then we can mess with them. Caretaker 03, another one. I don't know that all of these have variant accessories, but I'm gonna check. Is this the same? It's a different one. And okay, so that's the caretakers. So let's look at this gentleman here. Okay, so he has these goggles, and I'm not going to explain what the goggles are because that's a bit going to spoiler town, but we'll just take them off. So he doesn't practice the best dental hygiene. He can he can wear a sweet headband if he wants. Got that. We got, yeah, bandana guy, needs a haircut guy, and we got, oops, let's go. Oh, that's the same. Oh no, I picked the wrong thing. Oops, I mixed them up. And we got scraggly hair, grunge, rocker, football fan guy. So yeah, so there's some fun variants, and then oh yeah, this guy definitely has some variants. How could I forget? Yes. Okay, so let's take his goggles off. Alright. And then we got that guy. I don't even know how to describe that. But that guy. And then we have that guy. And this last one's, yes, he's my favorite. Square hair. We call him square hair. Yeah, so this guy I think is just similar variants to this one. So anyway, as you can see, now this is just one enemy type. Well, I shouldn't even call them enemies because they're not so bad. But these guys appear in the first level in the graveyard. They're caretakers, so they take care of the graveyard. But anyway, so all characters have sort of default behaviors that will just sort of activate when we run the game. So I believe if I run the game and the controls initialize properly, they should come at me. Or are they going to come at me? They might be set to default not come at me. Oh, my controls haven't initialized, that's why. I might have to run the game a few times to get them to work right, but anyway, you can see them doing their little idle animation. Oh, ignore that. Come on, Ray. Attack, 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 attack. Okay, let me try. Oh, there they go. Wow, that took a minute. So these guys have some different attacks they do. As you can see, we've even got some debug information on there. It's showing them keeping an eye on me. They actually have a pretty sophisticated bit of AI right now. I'll kill him real quick. So this guy, he's got a shovel, so he's actually a different level of difficulty than the guy that I just killed. But he'll come at me, do some good damage. The thing is, if I hit him, he'll block it. Come here. Come. Oh, he just got me. Come here, you little. So he blocked it, and then that makes him vulnerable, so you can take him. You can do some damage on him for a period of time. Sorry, the frame rate's pretty bad right now. Ooh, I think by default they have a lot of hit points. Alright. Anyway, having a hard time with this guy, so let's go get some help. Oh, look at that. How you do what? Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple of zombies now. This guy is scared stiff. Anyway, alright. So you get the idea. So let's see what else. I could show a couple of different characters. We got punkers. I'm gonna delete these guys for now. So we got this gentleman who shouldn't look familiar to anyone. Got another punker. And another punker. And another one. Oh my gosh, so many, so many. Okay, so I don't think... I think there's a couple variants on these, but not quite as many as the caretakers, but I don't think... Right. I don't think this guy actually has any. Nope, Matt's fired. Okay, so these guys have variants. So got this. Oh, yeah. This is the guy that gets it in our trailer. The awesome mohawk. And he's got pins in his head. I think those are used to keep the top of his head on. Looks like he had some rather invasive surgery there. And that's it. Okay. And then here we got, yeah, I got the nose ring, the piercings. Looking pretty tough. Got a sweet fro, complete with skull comb. And this, yes, multicolored cornrows. Awesome. Yeah, so anyway, so these are here in the first level. And right now they have similar behavior to what the other guys have. There are some that, like this guy here, that just fight with their bare fists, and then the other ones have, you know, chains and pipes, and I think that's it. So anyway, basically there's a melee version and a bare-fisted version, and then a melee weapon version. And then this young lady, she plays kind of a special role in the level. She has this Molotov cocktail that she throws down. You can see that in the trailer as well. So anyway, not exactly sure what to show. Mostly, I guess I'll have, let's see. Let's see here. Let's pretend that these guys, this isn't terribly exciting, but it just kind of shows you a bit of how things work. Let's pretend that this guy lives in this house, and he's chilling on his front porch. Let's give him a chair to sit in. Sweet lawn chair to sit in. He's not going to actually sit though. He's just going to stand next to it. These things aren't terribly sturdy. Also got the pool variety. So let's just put these outside of his house. Okay. So let's just have him standing there, and we're going to set up a trigger, and I'm nervous to do this just because things are finicky, but basically when Ray walks by, we're going to set up a box around this region that sends a behavior to this guy to come out and attack Ray. Okay, it's not super exciting, but it's, you know, once you start to see how these things work in games, it's weird because when you're playing games, you're going to start, if you haven't already, you start actually thinking about like where trigger boxes are throughout the level, and what it was that you just did that made that thing happen. Because most things in games happen as a result of things that you do. So anyway, all right, so we use a program called Playmaker to set this stuff up. Sorry, I'm going to actually get a drink of water and use the bathroom real quick in a second. Will we be able to make them sit? You know, that's the kind of thing that's in the category of thing that we could do, but it's a fair amount of work to do that kind of stuff. I mean, it may not seem like a big deal. It's probably in the category of, you know, we're a small team, small budget, you know, we've got to get this game done. Is that worth doing? And right now the answer would be no. There may be a scenario where it's really important that someone